Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Zedhlans deck profile. This is one of the two new decks that we got from the latest Cardfight Vanguard set, Triple Drive Booster. A very awesome set that focuses on being able to use your powerhouse Vanguard, the Zedhlans Iron Dragon, which also is kind of like a blacksmith forgery kind of deck, using the set order to then establish more power with your other units. And the big play being the restand power and the initial drive +1 that this card can get as well, being able to use those set orders along with your main go-to grade 3 Vanguard. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. Our starter is Smith Apprentice Zedhlans. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. And I'll just say now I am missing cards for the deck as well, because they definitely decided to short print a good number of the cards for this deck whenever you would buy some of the set, and then just the availability of the Triple Drive Booster as well. Our grade 1 is Rising Smith Zedhlans. When placed by riding from a grade 0 with Zedhlans in its name, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to one card with Wrought Iron and its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So just more search power for the Wrought Iron cards that we run in the deck as well, with our grade 2 being Wrought Iron Dragon Zedhlans. When placed by riding from a grade 1 with Zedhlans in its card name, search your deck for up to one Smithy card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So the Smithy cards are more of the other setup that we run in the deck, depending on the other cards we use, but still more search power with our grade 3 being Wrought Iron Dragon King Zedhlans. We run the 1 copy in the ride deck and then the 3 additional in the main deck, because we still have the option of Persona Ride Pressure with this deck also. But before we get to the other grade 3s that we run the deck, I also run the 4 copies, or at least I want to run 4 copies of Wrought Iron Workshop of Burning Flames. This is the set order that we run in the deck. You play this if you have a Vanguard with Zedhlans in its card name. From the order zone, you rest this card, choose one of your units, and it gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. If you chose a unit with Wrought Iron in its card name, until the end of your opponent's next turn, that unit gets intercept and plus 5,000 power. So it's more of the defensive lineup of what this deck can do, adding more shield power to the deck. Also helps for your defensive capabilities, while your Zedhlans is more of your offensive capabilities for the deck. I have one placeholder being Defensing Roar, which also gives additional shield power to one of your units on the Guardian Circle, and recycle power also. So you can use both the normal set orders and the blitz orders in tandem together for a more defensive powerhouse against your opponents. And for the grade 3s, I do want to run 3 additional copies of Zedhlans. I have 2 Rockgore Hammer Dragon as placeholders, but with this card, when placed by riding from a unit with Zedhlans in its card name, Soul Blast 1, search your deck or drop for up to 1 set order, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you search your deck, shuffle it. So the more of the Burning Flames you can set up, the more of a defensive option you have every time you can rest the set order. And on the Vanguard, once per turn, when it attacks, counter +1, this unit gets drive +1 until end of turn. And if this unit was chosen by the ability of a Smithy in your order zone 3 or more times this turn, at the end of the battle, stand this unit, and then you also get the additional plus 10,000 and drive -1 until end of turn. So you have the restand pressure. You do lose all your drive checks, but it still can hit for a pretty big attack, which your opponent will either have to take or defend against also. And then other grade 3s, I do want to run 4 copies of the new Wrought Iron General Dragon, Fierce Galler Dragon. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if it was chosen by the ability of a Smithy in your order zone until the end of that battle, this unit gets plus 5,000 and Soul Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So the Smithy option for your cards comes in the form of your Workshop of Burning Flames. So then being able just to choose this to gain the additional plus 5 and shield means you have at least more of an option for the attacking power, and then the retire power against your opponent's cards, just needing the Soul Blast power to do so. I have the Penetrator Dragon Trabosh just as more of an additional critical pressure for your opponent's Vanguard as well, and building up some of your own soul also. And I also run 3 copies of the Peeling Dragon Bilvoris. You have the 15k guard option, and also just when it's discarded from the hand while riding from a grade 3 from the ride deck, to be able to draw a card. You also have plays for that setup, but it's more of just the discard fodder if needed for your ride deck. And for the grade 2s, like I said, was missing a good number of cards compared to the Keter Sanctuary deck. But I do want to run 4 copies of Wrought Iron Soldier, Dragon Lightning, Surge Dragon. When it's chosen by the ability of a Smithy in your order zone during this turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater card with Zedhlans in its card name, until the end of your opponent's next turn, this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, so more protection for one of your intercept units. And on rearguard, when it attacks, it was chosen by the ability of a Smithy order this turn, +1 and draw a card. So you have draw power on top of the protection from being chosen by your opponent's cards, with our other grade 2 being 3 copies of Great Flame of Ambitious Scales, Kolgaflon. When it's discarded by the hand during the ride phase, Soul Blast 1, put this card on the bottom of the deck and draw a card. And when it's placed on rear, if you Persona Road this turn, +1, retire all of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as this unit. Just more of a way to clear out your opponent's rear guards in the same way that your other cards, like your Galar Dragon, can do as well. And for the grade 1s, I do want to run 4 copies of Wrought Iron Knight Hadid. When on rearguard, this unit boosted chosen unit, chosen by the ability of the Smithy order this turn, you may soul charge 1, which helps to build up the Soul Blast power needed for cards like the Wrought Iron General Dragon to use for its Soul Blast. And at the end of the battle, this unit boosted, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Zedhlans its card name and you do not countercharge this turn, you can retire this unit and countercharge 1. I have 2 Togachirashi as just a soul placeholder when discarded during your turn, but still, you want to run 4 copies of this card just so you have your counter blast, your counter charge power, and more of your soul charge building power as well when providing a boost. With the other grade 1s being the 2 copies of our Red Jeweled Beast Galnet to make use of the cards from the ride deck to be able to place them back to either draw a card when placed on rear guard or getting the +15 shield when placed on the guard circle. And our Sentinels, running the 1 copy of Elementaria Sanctitude and the 3 copies of Sparkle Rejector Dragon for more Sentinel options and defense against our opponent, and also being able to go up against triple drive decks. Our other orders that we run in the deck include 2 additional copies of Defensing Roar. I had the 1 as the placeholder for the 4th copy of the Smithy normal set order, but I do want to run 2 to begin with. You choose one of your Guardians without Sentinel to the end of that battle. It gets when it's retired from the guard circle. Put this card into the hand, and it gets plus shield 10,000. So this is another way to grab another defensive card. Just choosing one of your Guardians, being able to guard with it, and then add it back to your hand. So more of the shield power that you can add back, and then just being able to recycle that card using this Blitz order also. And also our 1 copy of Evergreen Transfer. So we have more of a shield option against our opponent and a potential over trigger that they might have tried to use against us, with our trigger lineup consisting of 7 criticals, so 4 copies of Burning Flail Dragon, 3 copies of Blaze War Monk Sokyu. I thought of running the front trigger for the next spot, but I do have the draws in here. If you want to run fronts just for more pressure for your front row units, you can do that as well, but just by taking out the draws. With our heals just being 4 copies of Blaze Maiden Rioni, and our over trigger being the 1 copy of Drag Veda for the restand pressure, along with our Vanguard's own restand power also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, I wanted to cover both of the decks from the triple drive booster, so finally glad I was able to do Zedhlans as well. Well, maybe we'll see some more support later down the road for both of these decks, but until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.